Number one criterion and characteristic of describing these people that he called self-actualizers. This was the pinnacle of the pyramid. At the base of the pyramid, the longer line at the bottom, are all of the physical needs, our need for water, our need for food, our need for sexual, or, and as we move up, our needs for belonging, our needs to feel loved, our needs to be a part of a culture, and so on, until we get to the very top, the apex. And the apex of the pyramid is a place called self-actualization, where people are independent of the good opinion of other people. They're detached from outcome. They're no longer doing what they do because of what's going to come to them, because of how much money they're going to make or whatever. They're doing what they are doing because it is an internal calling to align with their soul's purpose in being here. And they are people who see the unfolding of God in everyone and everything that they encounter, and understand that inside of a self-actualized person is the soul of someone who must be what they can be. They know that they came here to be something great and grand. They're going to live from an extraordinary level of consciousness. And they know inside of their hearts that this is something that I absolutely must be. And then the final characteristic of these self-actualizing people, not final one, but the top five, is that these are people who never place into their imagination, into their thoughts, anything that they do not want to materialize or manifest into their life. So they don't go around thinking about how terrible it is and how bad the world is and how everything. They place into their imagination the world that they would like to create. For me, it's a world that doesn't have weapons that are designed to kill people. It's what Lao Tzu asked us to do 2,500 years ago, and I've just taken up that banter, that calling. And when you have those five characteristics of being independent of the good opinion of other people, when you're detached from outcome, where you must be what you can be, where you see the unfolding of God in everyone and everything that you encounter, and you don't use your imagination to put anything in there other than what you would like to see manifested and attracted into your life, the person you would like to be, the world you would like to live in. And then you just start to ignore all of this other stuff, and you read through the internet and you look at all those things and you just say, well, some people are, that's the way they are. And I just send them love anyway. That's the message of Jesus, Lao Tzu, God, Source, whatever you want to call it. I spend much, much less time now on reading newspapers and allowing negative energy into my life. I mean, I have a subscription to Time Magazine. It comes to my home in Florida. And I used to just read them cover to cover and go through everything. But almost every story in there and almost every story in the newspapers every day is about how many people were killed in this city and that city and with this explosion, with that. I mean, it's about killing and it's about violence. And our news is almost like a daily diet that we are all being fed, force-fed. And the internet is like that as well, of all of the things that are wrong and hurtful and hateful and inappropriate in the world. And I know, Diane, when I read those stories, like when I see a newspaper story about 60 people killed in Iraq from an explosion by the Shiites fighting with their enemies and so on, I feel the souls of 60 people just like, dying from violence. And I feel different inside of me. And literally, physically, I feel different when I am reading a story about pain and about suffering and about killing and about murder and about war and even natural explosions and so on. And so I find myself, even like I will, there's something apparently going on right now in the country about a flu epidemic of some kind, I guess. And there's lots of people. And yesterday when I record the news, and then so I can run through the commercials, and the stories that come out about, I mean, they were interviewing all these people in the hospitals and how sick they were, and it's been 5 days, and I allow about 20 seconds of that, and I just start noticing how I feel when I'm listening to all of these people who are getting sick from this flu. And I think there's a real good chance that I will allow myself to get that kind of thing as well if I use my thoughts to process this thing, because our bodies are the physical reaction of the kind of thoughts that we have. Our brains are, they're like a pharmacy. You have a great pharmacy inside your head, and it can produce any drug that your body needs by whatever thought that it places on it. So if I'm thinking flu thoughts and looking at all these people who are getting sick, and I just fast forward, just push that little button and go right through, because I don't want to watch all these people getting the flu, so that I start thinking flu thoughts, and all of a sudden I get a little cough, and instead of thinking, well, this is just nothing, I start thinking, oh my God, maybe I'm going to be one of those people like I just saw on there. So I just fast forward through all of the news and all of the explosions and all of the killing and all of the horror stories. And, it's no longer news when they just keep telling you the same thing that happened here and it happened in that city and it happened all over the. And basically what it's doing is just filling you with all of the terrible things that are going on in the world. I want to think non-flu thoughts. I want to think non-violent thoughts. I want to think peaceful thoughts, loving thoughts, kind thoughts. And so I don't want to be constantly bombarding my inner world and my physical body with the kinds of negative energy that are going to allow me to get sick or to get hurt or be depressed. I mean, I want to see what I can do and live my consciousness in such a way so that these kinds of things are no longer viable. They're no longer a way of being.